Public Works.
Is now joining.
Patty?
Yes.
Oh, that's my phone. I have calls waiting.
Oh, okay.
That-
No worries.
I see my daughter's on the other line. I told my wife to call her and tell her not to call us. But
I've had to do that before too. Okay, so our YouTube feed is started?
Yes.
Great. Chair Cerna, would you like to call the official meeting to order?
Sure, I'll bang something that, let me call a meeting to order. And I guess if we could take roll call, I guess officially now.
Yes, please.
Yes. Okay, Commissioner Cerna,
Here?
Commissioner Piccone,
Here.
Commissioner Wander,
Here.
and Commissioner Gutierrez.
here,
Okay, for the record, Commissioner Lostrom will not be joining us. She is absent tonight, and then Brandy.
Here.
All right, so item 1 is the approval of minutes. I'll be recommending the approval of minutes of November 4th. Do I hear a motion to approve?
Piccone moves to approve.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
And then Donna will take a roll call vote since we are remote. So we'll take it down. Every time we vote, we'll do a roll call vote.
Okay, as we are speaking tonight, I will need to have you identify yourself. So can I have whoever gave us that second to identify yourself?
Yeah, Gutierrez.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and we'll do the call. Commissioner Cerna for approval of minutes.
Aye.
Commissioner Piccone,
Aye.
Commissioner Wander,
Aye.
Commissioner, Gutierrez, second. Okay, thank you.
We're now on item 2, reports of disciplinary action. Randy?
I will read these for the commission. Subsection A, reduction in salary, there's 1. It's in sheriff's custody and there is no appeal. Subsection C, dismissal, there are 2. 1 is at the North County landfill. It's an appeal to arbitration. The second one is at the public defender's office and it's an appeal to arbitration. Subsection C, demotion, there are none, and subsection C, suspension, there are none.
Thank you. Item 3, communications, and there are none. Item 4 is old business, and there is none. Item 5, under new business A, we have the amendment of class specifications, number 1, which is classification project number CP-19-008. That's Amy presenting.
Yes, thank you, Chair Cerna. So tonight, Amy Brimmer, our classification analyst, will be presenting on this item.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is Amy Brimmer, Human Resources. This first item before you requests that the Commission adopt the recommendation to amend levels 1 through 4 of the Auditor Appraiser Series. Within the Assessor's Office, professional work is primarily performed by appraisers and auditor appraisers. Appraisers assess the value of real property using analytical skills and a knowledge of real estate marketing and construction. Auditor appraisers also assess the value of personal and business property and must also be able to audit financial records. An auditor appraiser first obtains certification as an appraiser and then seeks designation as an auditor appraiser, both of which are administered by the California State Board of Equalization. The core requirements to qualify as an auditor appraiser for a county assessor are established through California Revenue and Tax Code and further defined in guidelines most recently issued by the State Board of Equalization in 2015. Some of the proposed changes, such as those requiring a bachelor degree and coursework exclusions, those result from these state requirements. Other edits before you for approval, such as those expanding and clarifying the type and length of experience an applicant may have to qualify for consideration, and then also adding the potential for travel, are being applied at every level in the series, level 1, 2, 3, and 4, at the discretion of the county. At the advanced journey and first line supervisory levels, which are levels 3 and 4 only, a grace period is being added to the time a new employee has or is allowed to take advanced level coursework and the type of qualifying appraisal experience that we're discussing is being specified as well for these two higher levels. That's a summary of the proposed, or an overview summary of the proposed amendments we're asking you to approve this evening. In addition to myself and Ms. Hopkins, we also have Karen Johnson, Assistant County Assessor, and Robin Jervich, Principal Appraiser, online should you have questions for the department. And then it's public comment, I guess.
Thank you. Are there any questions from the commission?
I have no questions, Commissioner Gutierrez.
Tony, do you have any questions with respect to this consultation study?
Oconee has no questions.
I guess my only quick question, do these amendments encompass the entire series, Amy?
The bulk of the series, yes. There is one level that's not affected at this point. It is the Principal Auditor Appraiser. However, that classification is not being utilized by the department at this point. It's not a classification that has a budgeted allocation.
Gotcha. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I'll entertain a motion from the commission.
This is Oconee. I move to recommend that we approve the Civil Service Commission's request and adopt the proposed amendments.
You have a second?
Commissioner Gutierrez will second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, I guess, Donna, will you do a roll call?
I will do so. Okay, Commissioner Cerna
Aye.
and Commissioner Wander.
Aye.
Okay, the motion passes 4-0. Okay, let's move on to the second item. Sorry, I'm kind of fumbling around here. Item 2 is the classification project number CP 20-012, the Sheriff's Office.
So thank you, Chair Cerna. Again, our classification analyst, Amy Brimmer, will present on the class specification for the Central Services Manager.
Thank you. This is the first of two classifications assigned to the Sheriff's Office for which we are requesting your approval to amend. Central Services Manager is a single incumbent, non-sworn position in the custody division and oversees the day-to-day activities of inmate labor deployment and materials management. This position is currently vacant. The Sheriff's Office requested that Human Resources look into the minimum qualifications for this classification, and based on our review, it was found that the education and amount of supervisory experience currently required does not align relationally to the next higher level classification, which is Central Services Administrator. The minimum qualifications also did not seem to be commensurate with those that are found as requirements of employees performing comparable roles in other counties. These requirements were found to be rather in excess of what has required out in the market. Specifically, the classification requires a college education, multiple years of supervisory experience, and experience in a custodial institution. These are actually in excess of what is required for the next higher level, the Central Services Administrator, which again is why we needed to propose to adjust these requirements. The misalignment of requirements to the ability to perform the primary job duties has manifested also in an inability to garner a sufficient candidate pool through recruitment. So the material changes that we're asking you to approve to this, there's a little bit of cleanup that we're also asking for as well. But what we're asking you to change are to reduce the amount of required supervisory experience from 3 years to 1 year. Remove that the specified types of applied experience must have been in a custodial institution. And finally, to allow for a full educational substitution pattern. This is the summary overview of the amendments that I have, and we do have representatives from the Sheriff's Department should you have questions for the department. I saw Lieutenant Reynoso's on.
Yes, he's on.
I'm here if anything's needed.
Thank you.
Are you finished, Amy?
I'm finished.
Okay, thank you. All right, any questions from the commission?
Coney has a question.
Under Sheriff, how you doing?
Pretty good. How you doing, Lieutenant?
Thank you. I'm doing well, thank you.
My question is if I understand this correctly, you're eliminating any consideration for experience in a custodial setting. Is that correct?
Correct, yes.
I find that a little bit problematic from the standpoint that you're hiring somebody, you could be hiring somebody who has no experience in dealing with inmates, and that is in and of itself a significant issue in my mind. Has this been vetted with other agencies? Are they doing the same thing? And have they had any problems? Do you know that?
Yeah, so I know that Assistant Sheriff Williamson has taken this to other agencies, and then he himself worked closely with HR in what he found to be comparable in outside agencies as well.
Okay, thank you. For the HR personnel, is this problematic to you guys at all with regards to no experience in a custody setting?
That is something that we did look into. I took a look at our 10 comparable counties, and if the position isn't being served, there's a big mix. A lot of different folks are serving in this capacity, with a lot of the other agencies potentially having sworn staff performing at this level. But those who are not, we do have requirements for the non-sworn people that can perform this at other agencies where they only have warehouse, central supply, materials management. It does not have to be qualified as being in a custodial institution. And then one is a little more general. It just wants an institutional or similar setting, but it does not specify institutional in the context of a public safety environment or a custodial environment.
Okay, thank you for the information. To the other board members, I have a little bit of a concern here from the standpoint that these particular people that the Sheriff's Office is going to be hiring deal with inmates on a regular basis, and they deal with inmates in an area where there's a lot of potential contraband that could be moved about, and their inexperience in dealing with a custody setting could be not more than problematic in the sense it could be a risk to staff and other inmates as well. I do have a concern about that, but on the other hand, I also am aware that it's very difficult to hire people for this position, and I don't want the Sheriff's Office to be going without. So that's the I have to deal with, and I'm throwing that out there for the other board members who don't have that expertise.
I will, if I can throw one thing out there, Under Sheriff.
No problem.
This position will be supervising Sheriff's Department employees. It will be around inmates in a custody setting. However, the frontline staff that will be supervising the inmates, we do not require that they have previous experience in a custody setting. And they have more one-on-one contact with the inmates than the Central Services Manager, as you're aware.
Okay, thanks for that information. I appreciate it.
I'm sorry, this is Commissioner Gutierrez. Who was that speaking?
I'm sorry, Lieutenant Reynoso, Professional Standards Lieutenant here with the Sheriff's Office.
Okay, and you have no problem with them having none of that other experience?
I do understand where Undersheriff Piccone is coming from, where somebody in a correctional setting is doesn't have the head on a swivel, so to speak, or have the experience to do that. However, that particular position is not as engaged with the inmates as our frontline staff. So for that position, I would have less of an issue or less of less responsibility for them to be looking for the contraband or to be manipulated by the inmates.
Okay, this Commissioner Gutierrez again. Then you are recommending that we approve it?
Yes, sir, I would.
Okay, thank you.
Any more comments from commissioners? Again, I want to thank staff for the report. I appreciate the substitution pattern for the academic. I think conceivably it could have been an artificial barrier. So I appreciate that recommendation also. So I'll, with no further discussions, I'll entertain a motion.
Commissioner Gutierrez will move to approve as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Is that Commissioner Wanderer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Lieutenant, will you take a roll call vote?
I will. Okay, Commissioner Cerna
Aye.
and Commissioner Piccone.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. I just want to also let you know that I'm watching public comment on these as well, and to date right now there is none.
Thank you, Donna. All right. So the motion passes 4-0. One absent. Item 3 is classification project number CP19-031 in the Sheriff's Department also. And Amy, you're back on.
Thank you, Commissioner or Chair Cerna. So this one is in regard to amending the evidence custodian, which is also a non-sworn position assigned at the Sheriff's Office. These positions support essentially the chain of custody requirements of evidence, and then also personal property retention of collected by the Sheriff's Office. So after dialogue with the Sheriff's Office, staff moved forward with a 2019 request to update this classification. These updates primarily include cleaning up, the language we like to use, of the typical duties that have changed since the last time this class was amended, which was in 1986. Most notably, evidence custodians no longer have photography or fingerprinting responsibilities. Those would primarily be handled by evidence technicians. So those line items are being deleted, but they do have the potential to transport evidence among law enforcement agencies, which is why we're proposing to add that duty to the classification. This addition of transporting evidence is important because although the class spec itself has already required a valid driver's license, there wasn't any indication that this requirement was tied to any of the primary duties. And so now this change will solidify and provide justification for the driver's license requirement. Other additions you'll see to the class specification are those relating to the knowledge, skills, and abilities to successfully perform the essential functions of the job, And key to this are physical requirements, whereby incumbents are required to manually handle physical evidence of varying size, shape, and weight. This is the summary overview that I can provide, and again, Lieutenant Reynoso is still with us, should you have questions for the department.
All right, so any questions from the commission? Okay, hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
County moves that we approve the request as recommended by the Civil Service Commission.
We didn't hear.
Commissioner Gutierrez will second the motion if it hasn't been seconded.
Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further comments or public comments?
There is no public comment.
Okay. So now we call roll call.
Okay, Commissioner Cerna,
Aye.
Commissioner Wander.
Aye.
Motion passed 4-0 with one absent. Thank you, Amy. And I think you're back on for classification study number 20-013 in the Public Works Department.
Correct, thank you. This is the final proposal for classification amendments. This item requests that you adopt the recommendation to amend, again, 2 classifications in the Public Works Department. They are tree crew worker and tree crew supervisor. And of course, at the request of the Public Works Department, Human Resources was asked to address the commercial driver license requirement for both classifications. Tree crew worker already included the requirement for a commercial driver license, but the supervisor did not. The essential functions of both classifications do warrant the use of a commercial license. For the tree crew worker, the grace period to obtain a commercial license is currently 6 months. Public Works requested and Human Resources confirmed that extending the grace period to 12 months does line up with the duration of the full duration of the probationary period and is not outside of common practice. While tree crew supervisor was being edited to follow the same model and have that same language for commercial driver's license included, we also noted here again that the physical and mental requirements had not been added to the classification since its last amendment in 1992. So this piece is being added in by, again, modeling the language that comes from tree crew worker for physical and mental requirements. Again, this is my summary overview of amendments, and I do believe we have Deputy Director of Operations Jim Stone on the line from Public Works, should you have questions from the department, of the department.
Okay, thank you, Amy. Questions from the committee?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are there any questions from the commission, from the commissioner? Okay, hearing none. Amy, I have a question. Are these represented classifications?
Yes, they are. That's Chair Cerna.
I'm assuming the union has signed off on these?
The union was given notification, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry, all of these are obviously they're classified, you're looking at them today, but they're also represented as well, and so the respective union or bargaining units have been notified in advance and have had the ample opportunity to provide feedback.
Right.
And none was received from SEIU for these.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I will second.
Is there a motion from somebody?
Gutierrez will make the motion to approve.
There's a motion, and I believe that was a second. Is that correct?
Yes,
Tony
sir.
will second.
Yes, sir, no. All second.
Or did, okay. Great. So we have a motion and a second. Donna, would you call a roll call?
Yes, again, there is no public comment. So Commissioner Cerna
Aye.
and Commissioner Wander.
Aye.
Thank
All
you.
right. Motion passes 4-0 with one absent. All right, I think that concludes the new business. We're on item B, adoption of class-based specifications. There are none. Item C, adoption of class studies. There are none. Item E, request for appeal hearing. Under number 1, Rule 3, classifications, there are none. Under Rule 28, dismissal, suspension, demotion, or reduction in pay, there is none. Item 3, Rule 19, violation of rules, request for appeal, there is none. And item 4, Rule 20, discrimination, request for appeal, there is none. Item F, other requests, there are none. And then item 6, set dates for appeal hearings, and there are none. And 7 is the opportunity for public comment. Donna, do we have any public comment?
We do not have any public comment.
This is Commissioner Gutierrez. I think should the meeting minutes reflect that the appeal that was set to be heard had been dropped?
Commissioner Gutierrez, it does not need to reflect that because we were able to remove it prior to it being posted under the Brown Act. You
Okay.
initially saw the draft.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Item 8, future meeting dates. The next Civil Service Commission meeting is set for January 13th. Any other? Item B are the additional
Jim
commission
Stone from
meeting
Public
dates
Works.
for
Is now
2021.
exiting.
Item 9 is appeal hearings. There are none. And item 10 is closed session. There is none. Is that correct? Is there anything else, Brandy, that I've missed?
No, thank you, Chair Cerna.
Before we adjourn, I want to wish everyone a good holiday and safe holiday. I hope everyone is well. I believe the 13th will be my last board commission meeting, so I thank staff there who have been extraordinarily helpful. And again, I wish everyone a good holiday. Any other comments from Commissioner?
This is Commissioner Gutierrez. I just hope that if your last meeting, we could be in person.
Yeah, we'll see, Anthony. We'll see. So,
Let's see how it.
yeah. So with that, I'll adjourn the meeting. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Brandy.
Is now exiting.